Okay, welcome. Um, this is a class on an empath victim to empowered creator. And there's a in the in the world right now there is this word going around that people are calling themselves an empath, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means and how it can affect you and what you can do about it. So, an empath is somebody that can feel and interact with other people's emotional states. And so it can be really difficult going into a grocery store or in crowded places because they're just feeling all this energy of everybody there, and it can be overwhelming. And if you don't know, if you're feeling that and you don't know how to deal with it, it can just be too much for you. My story is that I also am an empath, and I feel and absorb other people's emotions. And I've been doing this all my life. Many people thought it was great. They didn't know I was doing it, but when they were around me, they always felt better when they left because I was left carrying their stuff. And okay, that's fine, but years of doing this, I started to feel the effects, and it really took a toll on my health. Now, some people know this, but there's a huge community that doesn't understand the relationship of emotions to our health. And when you have a lot of negative emotions, it's going to affect your health. When you have a lot of positive emotions, it's going to help affect your health. So it goes both ways. But usually we focus on the negative emotions. Somebody who keeps ruminating and just can't get over the anger of something that happened long ago might end up with some liver problems, or resentment might end up having gallbladder issues and having it removed, because it's easier to remove a gallbladder than it is to let go of your resentment. And this, they've in German New Medicine, which is a newer study that's coming out, it's been around for a while, but they have linked people's emotional states, trauma, and shock to cancer. And where you have cancer correlates to what kind of emotional episode that you were involved in, and found that your emotions have a lot to do with the energy of what's going on. And so if you treat that emotional side, then health issues start to clear up. Now, this is not new information. The Chinese have believed this for over 5,000 years, and it's in their writings so much that they also have broken it down to where we tend to hold our emotions, what organ systems are affected, how it relates to everything in your body. And they believe it all starts emotionally. And it's a long time before it shows up physically, but when it shows up physically, it's a long-standing emotional problem. And you can treat the symptoms of that physical thing, but until you resolve the emotional distress and the trauma and the shock that started the whole process, it's going to keep repeating itself. And so they focus on a lot of this emotional health. Empaths are not only experiencing their own, but they're experiencing others. Now, some people think of this as some unique special quality. Personally, I think every human has the ability to feel their own emotions and feel the emotions of others. But somewhere in their early training, they learn to shut it off because it's too painful. Others don't learn to shut it off, and they're just open and going, what is going on all the time? And then there's differing degrees of the ability to feel others. Some, they're just so natural, just like a baseball player. Anybody can learn to play baseball. It might need to be adjusted for some people, but anybody can play baseball. But there are those that are just born playing baseball, and they're just great at it. But it's something that everybody can do because we're all connected. We all have feelings, we all have emotions, and we're all connected to each other, and we can communicate with each other through how we interact and feel emotionally with people. It opens up huge new connections when you start to interact with people on this way. When you do it consciously. When it's unconscious, then all this stuff is swirling around you and you just don't know what to do with it. In the energetic world, in some of the different practices that people are really focused on the energy of the emotions and the energy systems of the body and the fields that our body creates. People who work in this area have discovered ways of helping people to mitigate that. And a really common practice is shielding. And there's 100 different ways. You can find teachers that teach you different ways of creating pink bubbles around you, of imagining light surrounding you so that all these things don't get in. And some people just build brick walls, and you felt them before, even if you think, oh, I'm not an empath, but you felt those that just have a brick wall, won't let you in. And it's just a natural way of shielding yourself, but it takes a lot of energy to maintain that, especially if you're doing pink bubbles, because you've got this force field that you've put up and you need to power it to keep all the bad stuff out. So what do you do? I found a way, and there are others like me, I'm not the only one, who instead of shielding, we absorb it. We welcome it. So you go into a grocery store and it's like, yes, this is great. Not that I want to be an energy vampire, but if there are emotions being thrown around and thrown at me, I can absorb it. It's kind of like eating food. We put food in, our body knows how to take that food, break it down, absorb it, and transform it into something useful for the body. We can do that with the energy too. We can absorb it, we can transform it, and make it useful for the body. So if somebody's yelling at you and you're feeling that thick energy of them yelling at you, you can take that as a gift. You can absorb that into your body. Yeah, it's negative energy, but there's a practice that you can do to transform that negative energy into positive energy. And now you have more energy, more positive energy that will help heal your body. And they've just given you the best gift. And you can do that when you're in crowded places where you're just feeling this overwhelming feeling of everybody's stuff, but you can absorb it, transform it, and now you feel great. So this transforming of this energy is, I call it life force. It's a principal driving force. It's the force that animates us. It's the force that gives us life. It's the force that allows our body to use the vitamins and minerals to conduct the information in the cellular pathways and to turn the electricity on so that our nervous system can work. It's this force. And many cultures have recognized this thing. They don't exactly know what it is, but they can recognize that it's there. And when you shift it, things happen. And many cultures and religious traditions talk about this. In Japan, it's called ki. In India, it's called prana or shakti. The Egyptians called it ka. The Greeks called it pneuma. The Native Americans called it the Great Spirit. In Africa, it's known as Ashe, and in Hawaii, Ha or Mana. And in Christianity, we're just going to go with Holy Spirit right now. That's a whole nother discussion. But there is this recognition that there is spirit working through us. And that's what I'm talking about, is everything has an energy vibration to it, but there's also this life force that we have, and it's connected to these emotional states and the energy of the emotions. And so when we have a lower heavy emotion, a negative emotion, it's going to suck our life force out of us. We felt that. It's just that, and the life force goes out of us. But the positive, happy, loving emotions lift us up and help power us. And we can bring that into our bodies and we can create more of it, just like food. There's food that we can eat that will just make us feel blah. And there's food that will give us energy, that, not talking coffee or caffeine, but just normal food we eat, our body transforms it, and then we're able to feel energized and go out into the day. And that this energy works the same way depending on the quality that we're bringing in or experiencing. So there are things in life that can suck it out of us, trauma, shock. The Chinese talked about the Jing that we're born with. Our parents both give us an element of this life force to kind of kickstart our life so that we can kind of get started until we start cultivating our own to some degree. And that's supposed to be reserved. It's meant to help that baby come and be born into life, but then it's reserved to help us at the end of our lives go out. But in America, we tend to burn through everything. So if we're not finding ways to cultivate our own life force, not that which our parents have given us, but our own life force, then it's like driving a car with a gallon of gas in the tank. And every time we stop, we put a teaspoon of gas in. We're just always running right there. Like, we're running, it's happening. We're going through life, but at any point, our car could just crash and die. But if we have a full tank, then we're not really worried so much about crashing and dying. Now, we might crash, but our car is not going to quit on us because of this low fuel. So to me, that's what this life force is. It's that fuel in our tanks. And most people on earth today are just running so low on that fuel because it's being drained out so fast just to keep up with the speed of life, the toxins in life, the quality of food that we eat, our disconnection to the earth, our lifestyles that are inside where we're not getting sun. There's a lot of things that can help build that life force in us that we just don't do anymore. So we don't have this coming in unless we consciously think about it. So those that are into biohacking and into health and wellness and getting fit, they've tapped into a small percentage of this because they found that if they go outside, connect to the earth, get some sunshine, get sleep, eat good food, that they seem to not be running on fumes all the time, but they have a little bit more physical energy because they've been cultivating this life force that's provided from the universe around us, that they've pulled in the obvious ways, but it's still a very small percentage. So in China, they developed ways to cultivate more life force than just those ways. And so they have exercises called Qigong, Tai Chi, and some of these other martial arts. Each one has their purpose. In martial arts, you're developing your body, but you're also drawing in and cultivating that Qi so that you have the power behind your moves for self-defense and things. So that's a martial art. But there are other arts that look the same that are also cultivating that life force in us. And so I practice a particular Qigong called Pengu Shenggong. It is developed by Master O.N. Wei. He is alive today, which is fantastic because you can learn straight from him. You don't have multiple layers of students from somebody who passed away. And so then if you have questions, you can't ask. But he had an incredible experience and developed this Qigong, which is a practice of exercise that cultivates the God spirit within you by drawing on the energies of the sun and the moon and the heavenly bodies around us. And so I use that particular Qigong because it cultivates a lot of this Qi or life force Now, what does that have to do with being an empath? Well, when you're an empath and your life force is full and rich, the outside influences don't affect you as much. You're not creating a force field. Your life force is just so big that you're actually, instead of absorbing stuff in unnaturally, you're giving life force and helping people as it develops within you. Not that they're sucking it away from you, but it just creates a bigger person to be able to handle the world around you. So that's one way to really help, not really shield, but you can go into a room because you're just bigger than everybody else energetically. The other thing is that energy is what drives your body to heal itself. I mean, your body knows exactly how to protect you. That's its job, and it will do it if you allow it and you give it enough energy to do that. And so this is the energy that drives all the things, all the processes in our bodies. And when you have enough of it and it's flowing in your body, then that stuck energy keeps flowing, and you don't end up having these health crises. So the Pengu Shingon that I do is actually a medical Qigong. It was developed for the healing arts and is meant to help you heal your body. So if you have emotional problems, that anger or resentment, it will help calm that and release it and get flow happening so that you can let go of that anger and resentment easily and naturally. It also, if you pick up on anybody else's, it allows you to release that, because it's all about developing your heart and developing kindness and benevolence to all things in the universe. And so you can't hold anger if you're trying to be kind. And so doing this exercise helps you to focus on how kind is your heart, how open is your heart, how willing you are to serve others, and to treat others with courtesy, because you can't do those things if you're holding on to these negative emotions. And so as you do this exercise, it cultivates that kind of belief system within you and allows you to have things bubble up and go, oh, I didn't realize that was sitting there, but I am really holding on to some resentment towards my mother. I've got to let that go, because I can't treat her with respect and kindness if I've got this old long-term resentment going on. So I need to bring that up and transform it into its opposite, which is joy and happiness. So I use the Qigong to do that. This Qigong also helps to transform what you absorb. So what I was talking about earlier is if somebody's in your face yelling at you, you can absorb that anger that they have. You can feel it. It won't feel comfortable. But then you can do this form of Qigong to transform it into energy that you can use that's positive and can help your body heal even more. And in doing that, it also heals the other person and allows them to calm down and to be able to communicate in a better way. And even if they don't, it helps you to understand them better and to have a more kind and giving heart towards them. So that's how we transform those energies. And as we do, it increases our life force energy even more, so that we have more power to stay healthy, to be kind, to be calm, and for our immune system to kick in and do what it was created to do. So that's how I take that piece of being an empath, where you feel like a victim because everything's assaulting you, and turn it into something that empowers you, so then you can create a life where you're not a victim, that you can step out and be a powerful influence for good. And it starts in your mind. And this exercise can help cultivate that mindset as we think and do this Qigong exercise. And it helps transform that victimhood into something more powerful. So you can always go to pengu.org and look up the information about this Qigong exercise. There's lots of information on there. There's lots of testimonials. You can find teachers in your area. I am a teacher, and so you can contact me, and I'd be happy to teach you this exercise. It's a one-time thing. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. Even somebody who is completely sick in a hospital bed can learn it and do it. And then once you learn it, you just do it. And there's groups around, especially online now, that get together to practice together, because when you meet with people in a group setting, you're cultivating this chi, and those that are weaker can absorb from the others that are stronger, and it becomes this group collective, and it can be very, very powerful as you work together. So I recommend practicing every day. Find a group to at least practice once a day with, because you'll just cultivate so much more, so much faster. And in that practice, you can release some of this old stagnant emotional energy and the energy that you absorb. If you want to know more about the 5 elements and how Chinese theory fits into this, and how your body that body-mind emotional connection, I'll be teaching a really, really basic introduction to the 5 elements. We'll be covering emotions and how they affect our body systems, the colors, how they affect our body systems, and lots of different theories on ways that we can adjust the energy around us through emotions, through colors, through sound, all these things to affect better health. So it's just another way to look at things. You know, if you get a headache, you can take an aspirin, but you can also look at other things. When I have headaches, it's usually has something to do with my frustration. Long process from frustration, it affects my gallbladder goes off, I get a headache. But the gallbladder meridian runs all the way across your head. There are so many points that if it's not happy, you can get headaches. Or it could be a lot of other systems can also affect headaches. But learning about that, then you can look at yourself and go, okay, what has happened in my life that set this off? Not as a blame game, but to look at a different aspect so that you just don't have to be living by the pharmaceuticals, and you save them for the really tough stuff. And then another thing that I do for those that are artistic and want to just have a lot of fun, it takes a lot longer than some of these other things to make an adjustment, but it lasts longer, is transforming that energy that you may have absorbed, or your own, that's causing you frustration or anxiety or depression, and it just doesn't seem to be moving. We just do this fun thing where we transform it through a series, a process of painting, and it's just fun. It takes a while. It's not a quick fix, but it is neat to put that feeling that you have, maybe if you have anxiety, to put that on canvas and to really look at it and go, this is my anxiety and this is what it looks like. Let's transform it into something that's not anxiety. Then we go through this process of doing it, and then at the end you'll have a painting, an abstract painting. But when you look at it, when you get into that state of anxiety or depression or whatever, when you look at it, it can bring your body back and go, oh, I already know the path out of that, and it's right there, and it can change that energy really quickly so that you don't have to sit and be in that icky feeling energy for a long period of time. So even though it takes a long time to transform, to do a painting, it lasts, and you have this image for you. So that's just kind of a fun thing. You can contact me on those lessons. Right now, I'm just doing that through a membership, and then you can just drop in and work on your painting with me, kind of in an open studio space through Zoom. But I have ones that I'm working on, and I will help guide you through intuition learning. We do some meditations and we paint together, and it's just fun. So those are the things that I do to help transform the energy of those negative emotions so that you are empowered and you can create a life that's full of health and happiness, and you can really enjoy your life without being sick all the time. So I really appreciate your time and listening to me, and you can contact me anytime, and I'd love to hear from you. And I hope everybody has a good evening tonight.